going to be a week in my life vlog, which feels slightly weird to say. This is the first time I've done something like this. I'm a bit nervous about filming bits of my life and showing them on the internet, but I'm not just filming any random bit of my life. I'm wanting really to show you the things that I make in a week, what I work on in a week, like how much I get done in a week. And this is not in a my brain's forgotten how to do words, look how productive I am kind of thing. This is more of a, this is realistically what I can get done in a normal week with my normal responsibilities. I have more responsibilities this week. Well, okay, no, it's not the busiest week, but it's not the quietest week either. Actually, no, I don't have that much that's not normal on, except for the fact that on Saturday I'm starting driving lessons. That's new, but will be ongoing, obviously. So, yeah, I guess I'm making this because, for one thing, I love watching things like this. I'm nosy, and yeah, I love behind the scenes stuff. I love seeing the process, and yeah, I often find myself like wondering, like, how do people get things done? How do people fit creating things around the other things in their life? How do they fit things around work? And obviously for some people the answer is that the art is their work, the creating is their work. That's why they have so much time to create all the things. That's how they manage to get so many things made. And some people just don't sleep or manage to be uber motivated all the time or something. Now, I'm not either of those. I do like my sleep. I am not super motivated all the time. The motivation goes like this, and to be honest, a lot of the time the cleaning and tidying suffers in order for me to make the things I make, which, because it's just me and my partner, I'm like, well, it's fine, we can cope with a bit of mess. Which I feel like it's not how it's supposed to be, but anyway, I'm getting slightly off topic. Well, not really. I just was not I was just not initially intending to mention this in the intro. I was gonna wait till later in the video to talk about that. Anyway, yeah, I just find myself wondering how people do it. And obviously it's an individual thing, everyone does it differently. And so this is how I do it. This is what I manage to get done in a week. This is how I find time to be creative in a week amongst all of life's other things. So it's Monday night. I have got home from work. It's about, it's 6:30. Whoops, that. I got home from work about 5. I got in, I emptied the bins because that's the job that I do on Mondays. What did I do then? Then I came up here and, well, no, first I put some makeup on. Came up here and did a take 1 of this, which went terribly. And then thought maybe what would help with my confidence is maybe if I did my singing practice first, because this is actually something I won't have mentioned on the internet yet. I've been having singing lessons, and I've been very, very self-conscious about it. I didn't think I could learn to sing. It's a big deal. You don't understand. Okay, so yeah, I did my singing practice, and now, right, okay. Now what? Right, okay, there are a few things I need to do this evening. Well, for one thing, I need to film this. I need to do some video editing, because forgot which video I was working on, sorry. Yes, I have a video that I was hoping to post yesterday and it wasn't ready, so I didn't post it. This will be my second video ever that I'm posting, and I was hoping to post a video once every 2 weeks, and it's been, as of yesterday, it was 2 weeks since I posted my first video, and I've not posted my second one. So we're off to a good start, guys. So I need to finish that. I want to finish that. As of the beginning of this year, me and my partner decided that Monday nights are date nights. So I also am obviously going to be spending some quality time with my partner tonight. Well, what are we going to be doing? We don't actually know. We've not planned anything. So that's the other thing. You've got to balance work and rest, haven't you? You've got to balance being productive or creative or what have you, and having a social life, you know, spending time with your significant other or your friends or your family or whoever is important to you. You've got to balance those things. You can't focus all your energy on one and completely neglect the other. It just doesn't, you know, you're not going to end up happy like that. And so yeah, you've got to have balance. That's kind of, I think, what I was trying to get back to about why I want to make this video, to show them how I try to balance it. And it's not perfect, and to be honest, I'll probably end up being way more productive this week because I'm doing it for the video. That will motivate me. Having a little project that makes me do my little projects will actually really help me get things done. So what else might I do tonight? I'll probably try and do some spinning. I've already done my singing practice. That's nice. Good for me. Go me. So yeah, I have a needle felting kit I'm working on. I'm doing a video on that. Yeah, there's a lot of things that I don't want to work on tonight because I want to save them until a point where I can sit down for a solid few hours and do them, and also film them because I want to do them for videos. So that's a bit annoying. On one hand, this YouTube thing is making me is probably going to make me more productive, as in this video. But on the other hand, there are some things that I end up putting off to a later date, some magical mythical time where I think I'll be able to sit down for a solid few hours and just do it in one sitting. Yeah, maybe I should just do it whenever. Anyway, you will have seen footage of me on the bus this morning with some knitting, and I actually wasn't knitting that, I was actually unknitting that. Basically, this was the jumper that I am knitting for my partner, the Hops jumper, the Humulus sweater by Isabel Kramer, and I separated the sleeves from the body. It's a round yoke sweater, so it starts at the neck, it's in the round, and you knit all the way down to here, and then you put the sleeves on stitch holders, or the stitches that will become the sleeves, you put those onto stitch holders, you cast on some more stitches under the arms, and you just keep knitting round and round in circles for the rest of the body. You knit a tube, basically. So I got to this point here where I needed to put the sleeves on stitch holders, or spray on, or what have you. But then he tried it on and I'd done that too soon. Basically, it was a bit too tight under here. So I've had to unknit some of that, and I think I'm at the point now where I can start knitting again. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, so that's what you saw me working on earlier on the bus to work, and I also worked on that a little bit on my lunch break and also on the bus home from work. Tonight I'm probably going to do some spinning. I might do some needle felting, but on what I'm not quite sure. I do have the kit to work on, but I could also I have some little felt squares and I could just start something new. What else? What else am I doing right now? I must be doing other things. So yeah, I'm going to do the video editing now. That's what I'm going to do. That's where my brain was trying to go, wow, I'm so scattered today, I'm sorry. Yes, this is unfortunately how it is all the time. Anyway, well, I was gonna do some video editing, and then my partner reminded me that we had this chair delivered today to go in our bedroom, and we needed to take it upstairs. So that's what I've done instead. 2-second YouTube video is rendering. It's mine. Okay, it's time to go and have food and date night now. Just got home from work. It's Tuesday at 5:15. I've just put the oven on for the frozen pizza I'm having for my tea, as in my dinner. Tonight I have my singing lesson, that's why we're having an early tea. And while the oven's heating up, I thought I'd just quickly get a thumbnail done for my video that I finished editing last night, so that then that's done, I can pretty much post that, I think. What else am I gonna do tonight? I don't know, I might not get very much crafting done tonight. I basically haven't put any clean laundry away in about 3 weeks, if not more, so that's really getting on my nerves now. I'm gonna snap and I'm gonna do it, I think. So I don't know how much crafting I'll get done. Today on the bus on my way to and from work, I was working on my sock. I don't feel very... On one hand, I like knitting socks because it's very easy. They're obviously very portable. It's very easy to fit, you know, in a bag. It's very easy to just get out on the bus and start knitting it because it's small and easy. But I have to say, I can't get very excited about it. It doesn't inspire me. It doesn't fill me with joy and like, oh yes, I really want to make this. It's practical. It is practical. Once I do eventually knit those heels, I will wear them. It will be practical. But right now, I've been knitting a lot of socks, but not actually finishing a lot of socks. So, yeah, I just find myself not able to get very excited about them. I'm not really sure I really count that as crafting. It's more just kind of something I bring along for my hands so that my hands have something to do on the bus. Anyway, right. What am I doing? Thumbnail. Also, I did make a mistake on those socks this morning. Sorry, apparently I can't, what's the word? Multitask at all. What am I doing? What am I trying to do? I've forgotten how to make a thumbnail. I need to get a still from the video, that's what I need to do. There was a way, I worked out how to do it last time. The socks I was knitting this morning, I made a mistake. I started doing the ribbing on the cuff of my sock, and I was going to do knit one, purl one all the way around, and I didn't notice that on the very first round of this, I at one point accidentally did knit two. So then that kind of, because it's meant to alternate, it knocks it all off for the whole rest of the round. I could have undone that round and redone it. I decided instead just to fix it going forward, if that makes sense, like do it right going forward. So for the majority of the first round, the knit and purl alternation is then out of sync for what it is in the rest of the cuff, if that makes sense. So it looks a little weird and bumpy. But you know what? I've decided? I've decided it's a design feature now. It's not a mistake. I meant to do that. Definitely. I definitely meant to do that. Yeah. It just makes my sock unique. It is, what day is it? Wednesday? Wednesday night. I was really tired today and kind of a bit anxious. So I didn't really feel like talking to the camera earlier. I'm just sitting on my beanbag. And I'm currently knitting my dragon sock. The yarn from this is by a dyer called Dyed in the Wool, who's on Etsy, and She's had a hiatus, but she's selling yarn again now. She's back in business. So highly recommend checking her out. But yeah, what did I do today? After I got home from work, I came up here, did some embroidery because I felt like doing that. It's not often I feel like doing embroidery, so, you know, took that opportunity, I guess. And then we had some food, we watched an episode of Stargate, I spun some yarn, as you saw, and then I came up here and did my singing practice, which I'm absolutely not sharing. Absolutely not. Learning some new songs at the minute, and obviously because they're new, they're not sounding great yet. I'm embarrassed, but you know, what's new? Anyway, I'm gonna go to bed soon, but I am making a little bit of progress on this just because, well, singing practice involves, obviously it involves singing, but it also involves recording yourself because, how to phrase this? It's hard to hear yourself. So my singing teacher recommended any singing student, I think, records themselves and listens back to it. So yeah, I was just sitting listening back to my recordings after I practiced each song, and was just sitting there staring at this project ball here on my little hampered side table thingy, and it's like, hey, I've not worked on that in a while. What needs to be done next? So the heel is next, but first 2 rounds of just plain stockinette in the main colour. So that's what I'm doing right now. That's probably all I'm going to do tonight. I'm probably not going to try and start the heel tonight. It is, after all, 10 to 11. That's why I need to go to bed. Okay, right. It's my beginning of round marker reached, so I'll just knit 1 more stitch to keep that in place. Right. Okay. Good night. Good morning. I'm just making myself some sandwiches very quickly for work. It is Thursday morning, and tonight's book club, so I'm not going to have time to talk to the camera at all tonight, which is why I thought I'd do it now instead. Yeah, what else do I have to say? I'm taking my dragon sock to work with me so I can listen to that on the bus. No, those are the wrong words. I'm taking my dragon sock to work with me so I can knit on that on the bus. I'm probably listening to an audiobook of the book we're reading with book club right now. And I'll actually remember my earphones today because yesterday I forgot them. One of my co-workers very kindly lent me his earphones because otherwise I would have had to exist in silence all day, which would have been very depressing. Also taking the hot jumper, which I'm now knitting rather than unknitting, which is nice. Yeah, so I'm going to book club straight from work tonight. So I'll probably just, in between, I'll probably just like hang around in town a bit. Oops. And probably then go to wherever we're meeting for book club a bit early and get myself a drink continue listening to the audiobook, continue knitting is probably what I'll do. So yeah, that's today for you. Also, I have a story idea I'm thinking about. We'll see where that goes. If that goes anywhere, maybe I'll just daydream about it and not do anything with it. That's my lunch. So, it's felt like a long week. It is Friday night at about 6 p.m. I had to go to the supermarket on my way home from work, and I ended up going to 3 different supermarkets trying to get what I was looking for. So I didn't get home until about 20 minutes ago. And I was really, really excited today I was really excited for the weekend, to do all the crafts. I was really looking forward to making progress on my dragon socks and making progress on my partner's jumper, the hops jumper. And I took both of them to work with me. As you will have seen, I knitted them both on various buses, various public transport this morning. And I also worked on my dragon sock on my lunch break at work. And these projects were both in a canvas bag that I brought with me to work. And I left that canvas bag at work. And I realised literally about, probably about a minute after I left work, while I was on the bus. And I genuinely contemplated getting off the bus and going back to work to get it. But I didn't. And also later it occurred to us, me and my co-worker who I was on the bus with, it occurred to us that there were other co-workers who hadn't left the building yet, and I could have messaged one of them and asked them to bring it to me in town. Asked them to meet me somewhere with it. But it didn't occur to me to do that in time, so by the time we thought of that, no one would have been in the building. So, anyway, I was very annoyed when I realised. I was so annoyed when I realised this. But, best laid plans and all that. So I guess we'll not be working on either the hops jumper or my dragon socks this weekend. And also in other news, my driving instructor has cancelled my lesson, so that's not happening. So I guess I'm not really doing anything this weekend. I'm just, as in, you know, besides crafting, I'm just staying in. So, yeah, that's most of what I wanted to update you on. I'm just making some food. I'm going to make some mushroom and halloumi burritos with peppers. So that should be nice. I'm very hungry. I didn't have enough lunch, and I didn't have enough breakfast either. I mean, I thought I had the same amount of breakfast as normal, but apparently not, because I've been hungry all day. Wow, I've just got pepper seeds all over the floor. Great, good for me, well done. I would like to do some crafts tonight, maybe. So yeah, I guess there are a few options. One is that I've had this idea for an art piece that involves, if I can get my words out right, basically it involves wet felting some little bits of fabric, wool obviously, into like hill shapes, and then stitching them on like together to create like a kind of patchwork collage. And I've got a very specific image in my head of this, so maybe I'll give that a go, and then like combine it with maybe some needle felting or something. I imagine it being very like cutesy. I might do that. Well, maybe not tonight actually. I'll probably do that at some point this weekend if I've got time. And also there's a couple of pieces that I, like practice pieces that I did, one of which I was kind of like, I think this might be finished, but I'm not quite sure. And I might revisit that and do some embroidery on it, maybe. And can you tell I was listening to an embroidery podcast while I was at work today? So yeah, I might do some embroidery on that, or I might, there's a piece, needle felting piece that I started where I decided to try wet felting the base instead of like starting with some fabric or some pre-made felt. I decided to try wet felting like a background, and then needle felting on top of that, like needle felting all the details. And I didn't make a huge amount of progress with it because I wasn't like hugely happy with how it turned out. I was quite happy with how the wet felting turned out, and that's quite impressive because that was the first time I tried wet felting. But I wasn't overly happy with how that was turning out with the needle felting. I was like adding trees and I just wasn't very happy with how they were turning out. But it's probably just in the ugly stage. I probably just need to work through it. So I might try and have a go at making some progress with that. I do have a needle felting kit that I could do. I'm not really feeling that too much right now. Now, as for knitting, since I've left the two projects I was most excited for at work, I'll get the pattern. Rude. Rude. There we go. Why are you not lighting? Yes. There we go. That's lit. Did it. What was his name? Oh, the knitting that I have to do. So, I've got two shawls. One is an intricate lace shawl where I made a mistake the last time that I knitted it in December. It's now February for context. The other one is one I've been kind of working on slowly, like bit by bit here and there. So, you know, I can work on that. That's nice. That's a good, like, in front of the telly project. One that I don't, on one hand I don't need to think about too much, but on the other hand it's interesting enough to, well, hold my interest. That needs stone or turning down. and mushrooms, and I'll be back. So, right, I've got the 2 shawls, and then what else have I got? I've got the cardigan that I'm designing. Currently at this stage I have knitted only the swatch, and that swatch has been blocking for about 2 weeks because I want to film that. I'm gonna do a vlog about writing my first knitting pattern, and so I want to film it, but that has kind of meant that I've put it off a bit because I wasn't in the mood to film, or didn't feel like I had time or the right energy or what have you. So I've been putting that off, so I ought to do that, and I ought to fix that mistake in that shawl because I really want to keep knitting that, partially because there's a particular reason I want to knit it, like there's a particular time and place I want to wear it. So actually, well, how do I want to chop these? Do I want to chop these in slices? No, I think I want chunks. This is going to be a lot of food. I'm going to have too much filling for the amount of tortilla wraps that I have. Oh well. I'm sure I'll figure out something to do with the rest of it. Yes, what else have I got to knit? I've got 2 shawls. I've got the cardigan. It's really just a swatch. That's most of the things I'm actively knitting on, apart from the, like, what do you call it? The plain socks that I'm knitting. I don't consider those a priority. Those can wait till the bus on Monday. Yeah, so then spinning wise, I've not posted this video yet, but hopefully by the time you're seeing this I will have posted it. My 100 days of spinning video, aka part 1 of Spindle to Sweater. I'm currently still spinning that, and so I've got 2 of the plies on my spindles at the moment. 1 ply of the grey Cheviot and 1 ply of the white Blueface Leicester currently on my spindles. So I have those to do, so that's 2 of my spindles. Then I've got 1 spindle of alpaca and silk, I think it is. I got this second hand from basically someone I follow on Instagram has like a D-stash account, and she was selling this, and I was like, hello, yes please. Lots and lots of fun sounding fibre for not too expensive and taking it off the hands of someone who doesn't want it anymore. So yeah, right, I'm just gonna pop these in. But yeah, that's really, like, it's so soft. Now that I've got the hang of spinning it, it's so soft, and like it's really, like, staple length is really long, so all the fibres are really long, and you can just, it just drafts so easily. It does get everywhere, mind. Like I just get covered in it. If the fluff touches me, it's just everywhere. That might just be because, you know, I'm spinning while wearing mostly all black. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you've noticed, I'm wearing my jumper that I knit. And yes, I am wearing a cardigan over the top of it as well, because it's cold. It's been cold today. Okay. I think that's everything for the update. So I'm gonna just cook this, and I'll see you later when I'm doing some crafting. After all that talk of crafting plans, I ended up not really doing any of them. And not just because I lost track of time or whatever, like usual. I ended up planning a last-minute visit to my hometown for family reasons. So instead of doing more crafting, I was booking train tickets and making arrangements with my parents. The train there was overcrowded, so I wasn't able to knit on my way there, but I did knit during some of the rest of the visit, though I didn't film any of it for my family's privacy. So you'll just have to take my word for that. But I did film a little clip on my journey home, which was thankfully much quieter. I find knitting to be very soothing, which helps with feeling anxious, such as on very last-minute trips. And it gives me something to do with my hands in social situations, like visiting family, or while waiting around, for example, on trains, as it helps me feel less awkward. So I was glad to have this shawl project with me on this day. There's a lot of garter stitch in it, so it's very simple, and I didn't have to think too much about it to knit it. I didn't really film on Sunday either, and I think that's because I didn't really do much crafting. I have to say, since I'm recording this voiceover some 3 months later, I can't remember what I did do on Sunday, but I imagine it involved doing laundry, washing my hair, and decompressing from the chaos of the day before. So, I'm sure you can imagine why I didn't really feel like filming that. The little bit of crafting I did do was in the evening, while my partner and I were chatting and gaming with some friends online. I did consider giving up on this vlog and doing it again on a different week, or maybe filming a different weekend to go along with the footage I'd already filmed through the week. I'd kind of planned for the weekend to be the main part of the vlog, where I did the bulk of the week's crafting and made the most progress. But in the end, I decided to keep this in, out of honesty, despite having very little footage to share. Sometimes things come up last minute to upend your plans, and that's just life. I want what I share on my channel to be authentic and realistic, so it didn't feel right to just decide to scrap this vlog about what I crafted in an average week just because circumstances meant I didn't craft much. I suppose I could have said this wasn't an average week, therefore I should try again another time, but at the end of the day, what is an average week, really? So there you have it. That was a creative week in my life. It wasn't a particularly typical week, but then again, what even is a typical week? Every week is different. In this case, I didn't necessarily manage to get much crafting done, which on one hand is annoying for the fact that, I wanted to film a video about being creative and what I managed to craft in a week this week. But on the other hand, it's more realistic, and hopefully you guys will find it relatable, maybe, and reassuring that even those of us who try really hard to be creative don't always manage to find the time. Things happen, life happens. Sometimes you just gotta put that stuff aside for a bit, or sometimes you've got to prioritise rest or tidying the house, unfortunately. That's just life. But we do manage to find little pockets of time in between to craft, and it's not necessarily a particularly, what's the word? It often doesn't feel like the best way, it often doesn't feel like the way that you want to craft. I don't know about anyone else, but I would much prefer, or I feel like I would much prefer, to have more longer stretches of time in which to create, but what with work and other things that need doing, other responsibilities, I guess, it's just not feasible to have as much time as I would like for crafting, and it is frustrating sometimes. It is disappointing to think, oh, I'd love to get this done and this and that and this and that and this other thing as well, and then it turns out that you have 10 minutes to work on that here and half an hour to work on that there, and then you might have a night where you don't really have the chance to work on any of them, and then maybe another night you have an hour to work on it, but you'd love to be working on it for like 3 hours at a time or something, And also since starting YouTube, that's taken a large chunk of my crafting time out, which is a bit annoying. I now seem to be doing a lot of crafting and filming it, but then I just have a huge backlog of footage that I've not edited. Like this particular video, you're probably not going to see this for months. I'm filming this in February, and you're probably not going to see this for quite a while because, yeah, the amount of crafts I want to do and film myself doing them, there's quite a few of them, and so I'll end up doing them and filming them, but then I'll not end up being able to, you know, have the time to do anything with that footage because doing the editing obviously takes time and I'm not particularly fast at that yet. So then each time I want to do a craft, I'm weighing up, do I want to do this craft? Yes. Or do I want to edit this video of this craft that I already did? And I'm like, well, I want to do the new craft, obviously. As much fun. Oh, don't get tangled. Don't get tangled. As much as I'm enjoying the making videos, the crafts that I'm filming are still the main priority for me. So yeah, that's taking time out. Obviously I have to take time out to rest sometimes or I'll just burn myself out and be miserable, and I don't want that. Obviously I've got to sleep, obviously I've got to feed myself, obviously I've got to keep my house in a relatively reasonable state because otherwise I feel miserable about it being filthy. And that is, you know, it's not just my job. My partner does a lot. My partner does more than I do. But I still have to pull my weight, you know? And I'm not very good at that. And I think actually in this video I did better at that than I normally would because I don't like saying publicly on the internet that I'm not good at keeping my house clean. And obviously I'm aware that a lot of you watching will probably be a lot better than I am about keeping your house clean, so it probably would be more realistic in your lives to more often prioritise the cleaning over the crafting. That's not to say I would normally get much more crafting done, because I wouldn't. Because if it wasn't cleaning, it'd be sitting on the sofa scrolling through social media and feeling a bit depressed and unfulfilled. So yeah, all that to say, it is a bit frustrating and disappointing and kind of unfulfilling and unsatisfying when I've got like a million projects I want to do, and because I need to work and sleep and eat and etc., all that stuff, and because sometimes life just happens, things happen that, well, you know, things just happen and then you can't do the crafts that you want to do, and unfortunately that's just how it is sometimes. Anyway, not to end this video on a downer, what else did I want to say? Did I want to say anything else? I continued to make more progress this last week on my dragon sock after I picked it up from work, and I continued to make some more progress on my partner's hop jumper, and that's now to a point where I can split for the sleeves and body again, and hopefully it'll fit in this time. Anything else? I finished some of the yarn I was spinning. Well, I finished the single, so I've wound that off my spindle now. That you will have seen. I filmed that for a video, and that I think was the last thing I was filming for that video. So I now need to edit that. It's been 2 weeks since my last video, and I was hoping to upload one every 2 weeks. I'm not sure that's going to happen. But yeah, that's my next editing job, the spinning video. And by the time you see this clip, you will have already seen that video, probably, unless you didn't watch it. Please watch it. I've worked hard on it. I will have worked hard on it, rather. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like the video if you did enjoy it, and subscribe if you want to see more. And leave a comment and let me know how much you managed to craft in a week and how you make time for being creative, or just what your favourite part of this video was. Okay, I think that's everything. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!